Hello friends, welcome back to the DeClerc Homestead. Today I'm going to share one of my commonly requested things, which is how do I make meals from my canned goods? I've talked a lot before about how I consider my canned food, especially meat, my convenience food, though I don't can any full meals in jars. I don't can any type of soups or pre-mixed ingredients that are just open and go. So how do I make meals from the things that I do can? Today, I'm going to share that with you with 3 of our favorite, most commonly used recipes, and then a few others as well. Recipe number 1 is venison stew, which you could also do as beef stew. We just don't have any beef this year, so I'm using venison. And all I use for this recipe is a quart jar of potatoes, a quart jar of carrots, and then usually 1 or 2 quarts of cubed venison, depending on how much I want to make, and a quart of any type of broth. And this is literally my most gone to, oh crap, I need to make dinner quickly, what do I do? Because you can get away with not doing anything else besides the canned food and a few spices. So I usually add some onion or garlic. If I have more time, then I will cut up fresh onions and garlics and saute those and add them. But when I don't have time, I'll just use powder. I also add some thyme and oregano and some Montreal steak type seasoning. I like a lot of pepper in this type of stew, so the Montreal steak is a nice way to get enough of that. And then usually I'll add just a little bit of flour to thicken it. I don't mind it being more on the brothy side. I am going to use all of the liquid from all of the canned elements of this, but having just a little bit of thickener in there with the flour helps. So other than that, it's literally just dump and warm and go. You can add a little bit of cream from milk if you want to make it creamier, but it's for the most part just like opening any other pre-mixed, ingredients in a jar. This is just much easier for me on the canning side because I don't have to prep multiple things at once. I can just do it all individually. Once this is warmed up, I will serve it either with biscuits if I have enough time, or carrots, or I will serve it also just on its own, which my people don't prefer. But if it's truly a last minute, I've got to make something quick, then it is what it is. Whatever I have available is what I have. And yeah, that's one of our favorites and one that I highly recommend. The next one is a little bit different. It is what we call taco dip. And this is, again, a kind of last minute meal. Got to get something made. So I will use usually a chorizo sausage, some corn, some beans, and sometimes I'll add another ground meat or cubed venison just to have some sufficient amount of protein in it. But basically what I do is I just use my giant 16-inch cast iron pan and I put it all in with a block of cream cheese and some regular cheese and mix it all up and melt it together, and we just eat it kind of animal style with a couple bags of tortilla chips. And it is like my version of doing nachos for dinner, but my kids don't really like nachos when it's loaded with meat, so they go after this a lot more. But it does not look very appetizing. I will consent to that, but I promise you it's really, really good. Now, the chorizo sausage is the only thing that's flavored when I am canning it, so I will typically add some paprika, cumin, garlic powder, and again, like the stew, if you have time, you could add some peppers or onions to this as well, if you want to have, even more depth to it. But otherwise, this is one of our favorites, even though it doesn't look the best. I didn't get a clip of adding the shredded cheese, but I do add some shredded cheese to it as well and make sure it's all melted and bubbly. And yeah, this is one of our favorites for lunches or for any night that we need to just throw something together quick for dinner. And then last but not least is the classic dish of chili, which just takes a tomato sauce or chili base, some corn, some ground meat. Of course, usually you'd add beans, but I'm out of canned beans actually. And then I also love these candied jalapeno peppers. Those are just 3 examples of meals that we make primarily from canned goods. Of course, there's lots of other meals you can make with some canned goods plus other ingredients. Spaghetti, we use tomato sauce and some canned Italian sausage. We often use canned ground like shredded pork or chicken to mix for sandwiches, all kinds of ideas. But there's just a couple to share with you. Hope it was helpful, and I will talk to you guys on the next video.